Hi everybody, Rich here from SHTFandGO.COM. We've had a lot of requests for videos about our rocket stoves, and we wanted to introduce one of our newest stoves, the 50 BMG. Excuse me. But let's start with some dimensions, because that seems to be a lot of questions about what these different stoves, what purposes they would serve. With the backpack stove, we're looking at a height of 7 inches and a length of about 8. This is a compact stove that comes apart. The grill comes apart and the stand comes apart so that everything can go inside. Very small, compact, very lightweight, 3-inch tubing. And another question that people have had is what the little notch is for. The notch always goes towards the back. That's how it's balanced, so that it actually is level on a level surface. So we'll go ahead and slide that stand right back into the unit, and that's just a stabilizer to keep the unit from tipping over if you have a pot of water or something on it. Now this is designed for very small pots, camping pots, small, maybe up to a 2-quart maybe, but for backpacking or some kind of camping cooking device. The 308 gravity feed is a larger stove. Once again, the grill comes off. You can see the notch on the back. This stove with the grill stands just at 14 inches and is roughly 10.5 inches long by 8 inches, 7 inches wide, give or take. And with this stove, what makes it unique is that you can put your fuel source in the top here. This is your air vent down here. Put your fuel source in there, and once you get the stove going and get it warm, the chimney warms up and the rocket effect occurs, pulling air in through the stove and then venting out the top. This will produce about 10,000 really dry wood, about 12,000 BTUs. So this is equivalent to a large burner on a home stove. So you can boil water, you can cook potatoes, you can do any of that stuff with this stove. The handle makes it very easy to transport. Now these are not lightweight stoves, okay? This is a stove that is built to last, thus the name bulletproof. And I'll even show you a picture later of us standing on this thing. You could drive a truck over these things and you're not going to damage it. Our newest addition is the 50 BMG. Now this stove is very unique in the fact that it can not only cook, produce about 15,000 BTUs on the burner side, but can also easily convert into a tent heater or an emergency heater. The grill comes off, leaving an adapter that you can hook up vent pipe to. Now you can vent this right through a tent in an emergency and use the stove as a heater. This stove, here, we'll take this off here really quick. Put the burner back on. Once again, note the notch on the back that goes towards the rear. That's where it's been balanced. But this stove stands 18 inches tall, is 11 inches long, and 8 inches wide. And it is not it's not one of those cheap Chinese stoves. These are made in America with American steel. And this thing is 29 pounds. It comes with a handle here so that you can pick it up and transport it. But this is a stove built to last. I call it kind of like an heirloom stove. You're gonna actually transfer this to your grandchildren one day. So we'll put the vent pipe back on, and I'll come around the front. You notice that there's a damper. So you can actually open that up, put your fuel sources in there. You'd be able to put a wood that's roughly 13 to 14 inches long and still be able to close the damper. Once you get the stove going, that'd be easy enough to maintain. And then there is an ashtray. So once you're running it, you don't have to move the device to empty out the ash. You can just pull that out, dump it out, put it right back in, and you're ready to go. You can see there's a different design here. Here we have the air vent. This is all fuel. Air, when you're gonna change the air, you can actually open and close this. The holes down inside that allow the air, there's actually another bottom in the stove. The holes inside allow the air to vortex through and create our rocket effect. even with this closed, it's going to get air. So you can control the airflow by sliding the tray in and out, depending on how hot you want the stove to be. Once again, I just wanted to show what kind of quality these stoves are. There are a lot of stoves on the market that are made out of stamped sheet metal, where there's no way you'd be able to stand on the stoves. So just to give you an example of how strong these stoves are, they are very stable. You can't rock them. You can put a large pot on them and they're not going to worry about them tipping over. So, so very stable stoves, very wide bases, and very sturdy. Alright guys, we're back. We got the stoves going here just so you can see them running. Very smoke free once you have dry wood. It does take a little while to get them smoke free once you start it, obviously depending on how and what you're using to start it. But we took some temperatures and I can show you that really quick here. So this stove's operating roughly right at the grill at 350, and this one's at 320. It'll flare up with the wind. Unfortunately, it's a little windy here today, so you got to keep rotating the stoves. Oh, and I can show you a quick technique to do that. We have our handle here. I just have one of our kindling sticks that we picked up. So these are balanced. So if you needed to move the stove, you know, to face into the wind, as an example, you can rotate it. You want to keep the inlet in with the wind coming into it, because a backdraft, obviously with any stove, a backdraft can cause the stove to flare up through the outside. So we'll go ahead and rotate this one around here into the wind, and you can see how instantly they start burning and drafting properly. So just be aware of that. Always keep the wind behind you when you're operating these. The wind's gusting here about 25 miles an hour today, so it's been going pretty good. So, all right, we'll hook up the vent pipe and we'll show you what it looks like here in a second. You can actually hear the rocket effect with this thing open. Sucking through here and out the vent. So we just have this simple little vent set up here. And we'll go ahead and close the damper. You can adjust the air through the tray depending on how you want it to burn. See, that flame is rocketing. You see it right through the crack there. Alright guys, we're back. Just wanted to show you now that once we hook up the vent pipe, and there's such a huge rocket effect even with the dampers closed. I mean, this thing's throwing off so much heat right now that I can barely touch right here. It's 600 degrees, 610, 600 right around the chimney, 670 right at the top plate, and back here towards the end you can see we're at cool 250, 240. So no smoke whatsoever. You can see here at the chimney, I mean, we've got an exhaust temperature of about 380. Nice draft. I mean, there's zero smoke. So once you get it into the 600 degrees, you can see the heat coming off of this thing, and that is hot. But you're obviously going to vent this up and out of a chimney, or a tent, rather. And you got to just make sure that you have all the proper, flame-resistant penetrations for your tent. So, but anyway, just wanted to show you what the stove looks like. Here, we'll open it up one last time, and we'll say goodbye here. And see, there it is burning nice and clean. So, all right guys, thanks for watching.